Hi, this is Ray Wang with Constellation Research. I'm here with Nikhil Behl, and he's the president of software at FICO. I really want to spend some time with him talking about one of the most interesting platforms we have seen in the business. Let's start by talking about your entry into the Brazilian market, because you entered that market in a way that was very different than any other markets we've seen you guys enter in.
Ray, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and been a big fan of yours for a long time. So we've been looking forward to this conversation. You know, Brazil's a fascinating market. We've actually been in the Brazilian market since the mid-1990s. But we have found Brazil to be one of the most forward-looking and innovative markets, at least from a financial services perspective, anywhere in the world. They tend to adopt technology a lot faster than most other markets. And they tend to, want to be on the cutting edge more so than other markets. And so it allows us to experiment with them and to go to market with them and create solutions and capabilities for them that are unique and different, and bring them to market a lot sooner and faster than in most other places. And in this particular instance, in the about 2018, 2019, Brazil decided that they were going to go all in with open banking. And it was timing-wise just perfect for us, because our FICO platform was starting to mature and get to a point where it was going to be a wonderful toolkit and enabler for these financial institutions to really adopt open banking and to build new offerings that they could bring to market for their consumers in market. And it's proven out to be massively successful. Most of the traditional large financial institutions now run on FICO platform for their credit risk life cycles in their consumer and retail banks. And as do a wide variety of startups in the Brazilian market that have built capabilities and offerings on FICO platform. And in some cases, take that to market independently. And in some cases, they integrated in with the traditional banks and expanded the traditional banks' offerings for their consumers.
What's amazing is the open banking created brand new products, brand new access, completely new financial instruments that weren't there before to the consumer. What was the hardest shift going to open banking for the market?
Yeah, wonderful question, Ray. If you think about open banking, and by virtue of even the name itself, open means you're bringing in a plethora of third parties and capabilities and offering them to your consumers. And anytime you do that and you have a wide sort of distributed network that is working in concert to bring an offering to the consumer, you introduce risk in that system, and in particular from a security perspective. And so, financial institutions really had to think hard around how are they going to manage that security risk in particular. And how are they going to put in place systems and mechanisms that prevent identity theft and, fraud and so forth, that really at the end of the day causes financial loss, not just for the institution itself, but also for the consumer. At the same time, regulators have been quite thoughtful about this space and have put in place fairly stringent requirements from a regulatory perspective that financial institutions, startups, traditional banks, et cetera, all need to meet in order to provide a safe and secure open banking environment. And if you think about, most institutions, in particular financial institutions, they tend to have a tremendous amount of legacy systems in place and a tremendous amount of technical debt that exists in their institutions. And for them to be able to, retool and to create an environment that enables them to go to market faster, to provide these distributed offerings for their consumers, and provide value for their consumers in an environment that has higher regulatory compliance and requires a more personalized, homogeneous, integrated experience for their customers when they're in a siloed point solution, legacy, traditional sort of technology infrastructure framework. It's a very challenging and complicated place to be. And so they really had to work hard to retool to be able to create the forward-looking open banking environment that they wanted to build out.
This platform is really important, right? I mean, it's everything from data management to insights to actions to explainability and governance. And that's not an easy thing for companies to build on their own. And you guys have put in decades of expertise behind that. What did the customers you have do to take, bring their legacy tech up to the right level of modernization, especially given this open finance model?
Yeah, Ray, our philosophy and vision with FICO Platform from day one was really to build a platform for business and allow business people to run their business at the speed of business. And we wanted this to be, an accelerator for institutions. And what that means is we wanted to break down silos within the organization, bringing together the technology teams much closer with their business teams. To be able to bring their data science teams much closer to the business teams, to be able to break down the barriers so that these different personas and groups within an enterprise could work together in a single framework and environment to be able to deliver faster and drive value faster for their consumers and for the institutions. And that's really what we have seen, come to life with FICO Platform. FICO Platform is really highly focused on driving outcomes. And what that means is it's not just about, building the best AI or machine learning model and then, having it sit on a shelf, right? Gartner still says that less than 10% of all AI models ever developed are ever operationalized. And that's not the game we're in. We're really in the game of being able to build the best model, but then being able to deploy the best model in, as close to real time as possible to drive real outcomes for the business and for the consumer. And that's really what we're seeing today. So it's being able to harness data from disparate systems in an organization. It could be data at rest, it could be streaming data and so forth, harmonizing it, being able to, derive features and characteristics, which are requirements in AI, and build real-time profiles and features and always-on profiles and features. And then apply sophisticated analytics, AI, machine learning, prescriptive, predictive analytics, etc., to it, derive insights, convert those insights into decisions. We are a decision automation platform at the end of the day. And then, execute on those decisions through workflows and third-party systems or last-mile systems and drive outcomes for your business. And our customers are seeing tremendous outcomes and benefits and results as a result of putting this in place.
You're absolutely right. When we did the case study, the decision intelligence, that decision focus was very important. And what it allowed, we saw as we were interviewing customers and talking to your customers, the ability to cut across functional fiefdoms. So whether you're in operations or risk management and customer experience, you're suddenly able to get the synergies of having a platform. What were some tangible results that you can talk about or share?
The results have been nothing short of remarkable, Ray. And it's up and down, the stack from a functional perspective almost. I mean, if you think about, in the for our customers, their decision automation went up by over 60%, which is incredible. And while we were doing that, we actually were able to, drive up their digital transactions, also around 60% or so. And credit defaults actually went down by about 40%. And so if you look at it, it's two sides of the same coin, and it's very hard to actually optimize for both, where you're driving up transactions by 60% and reducing defaults by 40%. On the consumer side, on the small and medium business side, it took credit approvals, which used to take for a particular customer, for example, almost 6 months or so, took it down to 2 days. And their total small and medium enterprise credit offerings went up by over 15%. We saw other customers that put this in place where their time for credit creation, new offers, new credit creation, went up by 97%. And this is in a world where they're living in a fairly stringent regulatory compliance world. And their regulatory compliance, time for compliance went up by almost 4x. And so, across the board from driving digital transactions, reducing defaults, improving your credit offers, your rate of delivery of credit offers, and being regulatory compliant all at the same time is pretty remarkable. And so customers have been tremendously happy, and they start off with one use case and very quickly are onto dozens of use cases. And the largest financial institution in Brazil, for example, today has close to 36 use cases that run on FICO platform at this point, which is really a testament to how much value it drives for them, because they wouldn't do that if it wasn't really driving value for them and driving value for their consumers.
Nikhil, that's short of amazing. I mean, that is really what companies are trying to do, especially in this world of AI and this age of AI first approaches that every organization is there. What's next? What do you see in the future?
I think the future is incredibly bright. And it really is around ensuring that every single consumer is treated as an individual. And so if you think about it, Ray, even in the old days, right, we were trying to drive personalization and one-to-one, but it was really based on clusters, people like you and you sort of personalized for folks like that, right? But we are moving into a hyper-personalized world at hyperscale, where every customer is really treated as its individual customer. And the only way to do that is to have real-time profile and always-on profiles being created for consumers, where every single transaction that occurs in a financial institution or any institution, informs and updates your central state repository for your customer and your central customer profile. And then you run every next best action for that consumer off of that. And that really is the heart and the engine of FICO platform. We're seeing adoption of this capability. We're seeing adoption of this framework and this vision across not just in Brazil, but in dozens of countries at this point. And we're seeing a very similar construct start to occur that we saw in Brazil. I don't know if you've heard this story, but the third largest bank in Brazil in 2018, I think it was 2019, bought FICO platform, built their very first use case, actually application fraud for the institution. And it took them, about 14, 15 months or so to bring that online. But they were crushing it when they brought that online. And the second largest financial institution in Brazil noticed that there was something different going on here, ended up actually hiring a couple of people from the third largest institution, decided to bring on 4 use cases, came online with their first one in about 9 or 10 months or so, and actually ended up becoming the fastest growing financial institution in Brazil. And that really forced the largest financial institution in Brazil to pick up FICO platform, and now they run over 36 use cases on FICO platform. And that cadence of an upstart sort of picking up FICO platform, starting to build on it, gets noticed, other institutions pick it up, and then that really forces the biggest players to pick it up, is something that we've seen happen not just in Brazil, but in Canada, in the UK. I'm in London today. In the UK, we've seen that happen in Australia and South Africa, in the US, of course, and dozens of other countries. And that's really a testament to this vision of driving a hyper-personalized experience at scale for your consumers, where you treat every consumer as an individual and drive your next best action for that customer based on everything that you know about that customer. It's a really compelling future. And finally, we have the toolkits in place to bring this to life. We've talked about this for a long time, and finally, the capabilities and toolkits and technology now exist where business owners can run their business at the speed of business using FICO platform.
We always talk about faster, better, cheaper, choose two. I think in the age of AI, we can do faster, better, and cheaper. So I'm here with Nikhil, right, President of Software at FICO. Thank you so much for your time.
Ray, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate chatting with you.